Hello and good evening. It's Tuesday and once again it's my live stream time, and today I want to show you nothing new. I just want to show you how I correct a painting I already began, and how to correct it when it's not fits in my similarity or whatever you have to criticize by your own. So for me, it's in this case this guy. I started last Tuesday. The nose and the eye sockets, and just to figure out all the difference of the original reference. So it would be nice when you have fun to follow me and give me a thumb up, and or you push the bell button and subscribe my channel. That would be help me and maybe you, because you get informed about new videos or new live streams. So, but now that's over and out. I'm going to the easel and paint. So, hello. I'm online now. Yeah, I hope that everything is fine. I just want to make all these things fixed here. I just put it here on my easel. So, and I think that's okay. So, and just to put on the reference photo so that I have it here and also on my panel, so it makes it easier to me to sketch it. All right, so as I said, today I want to correct the painting, and so you have on the right window, the right down window, we have also the palette from the last time. Maybe I repeat it. So we have titanium white, we have a warm gray, we have a flesh tint, a cool gray, and citron yellow or lemon yellow, and then we have a cadmium orange, we have maple yellow dark, I have vermilion, I have crimson, and then I have cadmium red and magenta, and then we have yellow ochre, burnt umber, burnt sienna, cerulean blue, and ultramarine blue. That's all we have. That's the same palette like last week, and so for this we for the correction, maybe it's for the most of the guys it's new, and I do this with paint, and normally I use a thinned orange, and so I will show you that quite soon. So I just have to switch on here something so that you can see me maybe a bit more or better later. And so okay, that's fine. And I used here a little bit of turpentine and orange, and I really thin it a lot. All right. So I hope the music isn't so loud, and so you can hear me well. I hope that's everything works fine, and I hope that today it's worked with Facebook. I have some problems with Facebook to get online, so I don't know. It's a bit complicated. And all right, so that's let's starting. I hear that it's working on Facebook. It's perfect. That's what I like. And so I can now relax, continue on yeah. Okay, so what's the thing? Let's look. When I'm looking here at the face, I see that the beginning of the nose here is related to the reference photo. It's too wide, and I have to correct that. So I'm just use the color, the orangey color, just for correction. And see that it's going more up here and on this way too. And going the nose down the nose, I see that there's a bow in the middle, so which is not really done by me. And the tip of the nose is more round. So I'm just do that and try to compare with all what I see and what I think I miss and it's wrong. So this I'm correcting now. Like maybe that's new for you, but you can use your style if you like. But using that with color prevents you of, especially when you're doing that with a pencil or like graphite, which is really complicated using with oil colors, because you cannot isolate the graphite from the current painting to the new ones, and after a while, so the graphite is coming through the oil paint, so it needs a while, but you cannot hold it back. So then it's destroying your painting. So this is why I'm using mostly paint, or you can use watercolor pencils, which is also okay, or you use charcoal, which is for some guys maybe more preferable. Okay, that's let's see, it's the nose is the most mistakes, I think. It's I have to correct this, of course, because the beard, and that's all the stuff I'm correcting. And you see here it's going here more up, and this then rounder. Then we have here another line. All these things what I see here, I'm now correcting. It's here, and then this bow here, and then the hair is going up. Okay, so then here we have where the light is above the mouth, which is really an important point, and to correct the line of the mouth so that the shape of and the form of his lips is correct. So because it's really important to see the expression in the face, so they get a feeling, or maybe the vibrancy, or anything what is important to make a good portrait, and especially when you're using fancy colors. Yeah, so that's I think so much more important that you're nailing the expression and the feeling what the person is showing to you. You fix that correctly. All right, so this is here that, and then we have here the move from the beard around the mouth here into the chin. Let's see, that's what's going on here. Let's on this one here. Okay, now we have here the wider. It's rounder and wider. So that's here. And this is not so wide as I did it. So now I correct this here, going to the other side. All right. Okay. Sometimes it's helpful that you are using a different perspective, and because it's gives you another view. So as I do now, I switch maybe the perspective of the camera, so you see a different angle. Maybe it helps you to follow my thoughts, and of course it's much more entertaining when you're using a different angle instead of you looking the whole time on the same spot, which is really not so nice, I think. Or you're really engaged in painting and have the condition to look a guy over the shoulder and the whole time. But I think in these times it must be fast. Everything must be fast and quick and entertaining, and the most of them don't take their time to slow down or have the condition to stay focused on something for more than 60 minutes. Okay, that's this point here, and now I look at the lower lip here. Okay, this, that here, and this going a bit up. Okay, I think so this R is fixed. But what obviously, if you're looking at this forehead, you see that on this point here, the forehead isn't on the right edge here. You have to. It's a bit bigger here and rounder. Oh, I see that on one camera it's really delayed, so maybe I'm switch back. That makes no sense. That you are following a delayed signal. That's boring. So okay, let's switch back. And oh, it's better. Okay. What I never tested again, so maybe that's the first time I do that now, is that I'm can show look at my face while during I'm painting, but I'm not really. If that's working, it would be. Oh, it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit delayed, but the sound. I will see that later. And maybe that's also a point I wanna fix in the next stages. I wanna the next live streams. It's not so easy to get all the stuff done correctly, and yeah, but it's everything in combination. It's IT, it's sound, it's a lot of stuff which has to come together. Okay, let's look for here. I now here have the draw here, and which is here the description here, and describe these lines here, and especially it comes really straight down to the eyelid, and here the forms of the nose is really dramatic in this way, because I think it's more he has a big nose, I think, and of course it's the perspective you're looking at his head is also it's more the dramatic, or it's supporting the dramatic expression Okay, which is here. Then we have them down the same way like here. Then we have to go down here. And this. And what we see here, that's the part where the hair is going on here. Starting this way. And you see that the distance here between the hair and the forehead and the side planes from the head are not correctly measured by initially. So I'm just try to correct that. It must not be exactly, but it helps you to get really the better similarity and of this person you selected, because I selected it because it has a really nice face and strong expression. I like that a lot. Okay, so that's that, and now the eyes. We have here much sharper. That's really a sharp line here, just following the move from the head, and then we have, of course, the upper lid, which is really a dramatic form. It's really round. And this you have, because it's one of the most important things in this painting here, to find the right form of the eyes. Okay, this one. 2. This up move here. By the way, I'm just choosing orange. It's just my choice. You can use nearly every color. Maybe use more, maybe in sienna or so, or more a color which you already use in the face, which makes it easier for you. But I like this orangey. Maybe it helps me to use later, or let some of these orange colors untouched, so you see that later in the painting. It's also supporting my style of painting a face, but it's not really necessary. You can, of course, you can do what you think, but do it with confidence and not think, what is the name? Double guessing or so. I think it's a name in English, and or the expression in English. That's never do that. Do it or leave it. So in between, it's not helpful. There's something I learned when I started playing golf. It was many years ago, and one of the first lessons I learned was, if you are playing golf, you have to make decisions and with confidence. If you're using a club which you think that it's right, and then you're in between and you don't think, oh, maybe another one I have to use, so you miss the shot of really. And so be confident, take a club and hit the ball, and this way here the same. Make a decision about the line, about the shape, do it, and you don't have to be angry, because it's nothing happened, so it's not an accident. It's quite simple. So it's only paint, and every thought you're making helps you to get better, to getting better. All right, I think that's for now then enough. Could I do something with the hair? No, that's okay. That's enough for now. I think maybe I'm just using a bit for the the shirt a little bit, just to draw the shirt. And this one too here. Yeah, but the shirt can be really loose. No, nothing concrete, nothing special. It shouldn't be better painted like the face. It's just a side scene and or side scene, side act. It's also not really important. And I think here on the forehead is something wrong here. I'm not really finished it here, and because it shows me that this line here is really bright. I'm doing this in orange. Okay, this line here, this line down here, down here. Okay, that's enough. I take away the small brush, and I'm doing this now for yeah, I'm using thicker brushes like last time, and just to have a short view on everything is correct, and then I can start. Yes, all right. So let's take a brush. I'm taking this one, or maybe I have another one here. I have two more here. So I'm starting now with the correction of the eye socket, which is a bit darker, but the darker one, just to get the right shapes, and the beard. I have the same quality, and yeah, let's see. I'm not sure that maybe another perspective would support that, and yeah, but it's such a strong delay. I'm not sure what's happened, and maybe I have to close it and to start it again. So that's helps me to get a better connection. I'm not sure. I'm trying. I hope you have the patience to accept that. I'm learning, and you see how I'm paint, and I think it's a win-win situation. And yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what's happened here. No, it will not work. Okay, anyway, so then we have the boring situation here, and I have a lot of cameras, but nothing works. But on the test run, it's running perfectly. And yeah, I think maybe it's changing something when I have next week. I have a better performance here in my studio. Which is really a tough thing. So I have a bright color, and I'm using now the darker color as I talked about. So I separate that on the palette. The dark is now a mixture from ultramarine blue and a little bit of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. So like last time I did that in that mixture. So let's see how dark it is. Just to correct all these stuff here, and 'cause, yeah, I have a bright color, and I'm using now the darker color as I talked about. So I separate that on the palette. The dark is now a mixture from ultramarine blue and burnt umber. So like last time I did that in that mixture. So let's see how dark it is. Just to correct all these stuff here, and to correct all these stuff here, and It's of course a bit dark, but it doesn't matter, so I can lighten it up a little bit later. But now I'm using these to make all these parts where I know that they are really dark, just to correct it. It's like I told what I told you last time. It's a paper here. I'm using an oil paper, which has a structure of linen. It feels nice. It's nice to paint with, and it's for studies. It's perfect, and it's not so complicated to use like other papers, and which are not made for oil colors or oil paint and having the structure. If they are too smooth, I think you have no feeling with the brushes on the surface. This is why I like this here now. It's pretty cool, pretty cool paper. I'm using this color now for every place on the face or every spot in the face. I think it would fit and match. So this is I'm not worried about that, because I can use it later. I can use it a bit brighter or get darker again. It's not written in stone, so feel free. I try to capture the face instead of being too focused on you miss something, or like in the color, or you can correct that every time. So he gets a better or a more dramatic face, and it's more equivalent to the reference I use. It's now a little bit bluish color. It's I use the basic tint I made and use a little bit of cerulean blue, just to cool it a bit down. Now I'm going over the face where I think it's now it's the right place to use a little bit cooler tone of this dark value. Not so many places and spots in the face. It's only a decision you make, because on the reference it's black and white. There's no color temperature. This is your choice. In this way, it's my choice. But maybe I'm right, or maybe I'm wrong. We will see after everything comes together. And but intuitively, I'm mostly right. As you see now, I'm using a bit from this orange And instead of using white to lighten up this color, because I'm mixing this with the orange sketch I made already, and this is, you can play around with. It's pretty cool to do that. And what it makes, in my opinion, what it makes to paint. It's not music. It's of course a form of skill. You have to build, which means it comes not from heaven. So you have to paint and draw. If it's really, if you're interested in, it's not a must by people. They don't like that, but if you are interested in painting, you have to do that every day, or every second day, or every second day you're drawing, and just to have the basics, to get the basic skills and sketching some faces or whatever you like to sketch or paint. It hasn't to be really faces. So yeah, it's I don't know what's going on. Is the music still going? I hope that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think the music is still playing. Maybe I'm a little bit up so we can hear it a bit better. And okay, so that's the first correction. And then maybe I'm using a bit of, I cleaned the dark brush I have here now, and but I want to use the same and the same color format. So clean it up a bit, and then I'm looking for my chin here, just to shadow under the chin and the beard. I want to correct this, and yeah, I hope that you see that on the reference. It's quite visible that he really has a sharp shadow under his chin. So I'm using, once again, a bit burnt umber, yellow ochre, a bit more of yellow ochre, so, and a little bit of burnt sienna. So that's and of course a little bit of ultramarine blue. And it's already green under his chin, so it helps me to darken the color, because it's now a little bit diluent to thin the oil paint. It is a bit more transparent, so it helps me to use the underlaying greenish color. All right. So I'm painting in the shirt anyway, so because later I want to go over the I want to go over the shirt. Okay. Just to get it in that way a bit darker, I'm using a little bit of gray to lighten the edges up from the color here. Bit more warm gray to get here the edges right. But I'm not using any white at the moment, and this comes now when I'm going more to the highlights of the face, and yeah, to go around over there. So I take another brush. This one I don't use at the moment. So let's see that maybe you get, I'm just building up here a bit my screen situation so that you have another perspective too, and see what I can do for you. And yeah, I think I want to use that here. Just a second, and you can see a second or another position. This may be helpful. Okay. So I see that I'm just spinning with my hair in the camera. I just want to do that here, correct that. Okay. So. Okay. Good. So for now you see that that's operating on an open heart from live, just to serve you a better precision, and you see more what I'm doing here. I can do tests whatever I want, and when it's come to the live, when it comes to live, then it won't work. That's really frustrating. All right, so and now I'm going on the opposite side, and I'm looking for the lightest spots in the face, and these are obviously here and here and there, or the eyebrow here, the eyebrow here a bit. Okay, it's not really a big difference, so that's what I already did. Then we have here the light on the chin a bit. Of course, we have a bit light here on the ear, and here, of course, too. Around the ear, so the spot and on the upper edge here from the head. You can see that around the eyebrow there is really a big spot here. On this point here there is really a big light, and on the side planes from the head is also the light which is reflected. And just go around. Okay, it comes more and more in that direction I like. Maybe it's not for you, you see that, you don't see that, but maybe it comes later too. You see that when it makes a bigger picture, or a better picture when you're getting everything together. Or I'm wrong, maybe sometimes I'm I don't see the problem. And just to have really a distance from that what you're doing. A distance means not a distance from in measured in meters or so. You have a distance in not be conducted to that painting. So be more stay away and don't see it for a while, and then you look, and then you have a first impression, and you see, now I see what's wrong. Yeah, so that's definitely a point. Yes, much better, but not perfect, but better. Okay, so now I guess the upper part here is, I want to do that too. Oh, I think these are the biggest changes I have to make. Another one I saw already, this line here, which is obviously also important because it describes the form, the mouth. And to see, I'm just painting around these orange lines, because later when I'm starting to use other, or later is maybe too late, because I'm just starting to change the color, so I get more in this direction, like rose and pinkish or bluish, and the colors I already used. So I'm using this now because I don't want to paint everything in these little yellowish color, because it's not his face, not in my opinion. I want to make more an interesting and expressive form of this face. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Good. So now let's use other colors and cleaning up brushes. So it's now a mixture of maple yellow and cadmium red, and a really little bit of white, not too much. So I get more a rose color and with a coolish tone, and now going around this face again, looking for where I'm using this, where I want to use this cool color. It's maybe not enough. I'm mixing a little bit more this color in. Get these wherever I think where I believe that it supports my painting here. I'm setting up these colors, and maybe you have a different approach. You're mixing you prepare your palette before you start, and you're mixing your basic colors, and then you are mixing them in between. Or I'm doing that. No, I'm doing that really not. So it's more in. I'm following this intuitively. I have a feeling on what I have to do, and I do it. And I'm mixing the colors mostly in time. So of course I have some prepared colors, but these are always base colors I'm using, and I'm mixing, like the flash tint, it's by the way. So I'm using an own mixture. I'm prepared an own mixture of the flash tint, which helps me to be a bit faster. Yeah. So, and to have always the same tonality, and this helps me to do that. And this is why I have a pink, a pinkish one, and a violet base tone. I mix for myself. So, but nothing, not really more. So the rest will come during the painting session. Okay. So if you stay in this value, I'm using a bit of my flesh tint, and using crimson, which is more. Yeah, it has power. It's warmer, and it's really, it's a bit too heavy. I have to lighten it up with a bit of white and mixing more of this flesh tint in it. Okay, so feel free if you have some comments or ideas, or like I said last time, if you are interested in that said I should show something special, maybe not only a portrait, maybe you have another idea you wanna see. So let me know. I think it's because I'm living in my world and try to do my best, but But maybe you have a brilliant idea, which is maybe it's also challenging me myself, because I never ever did that before, and so I would appreciate it. So it's it would be great. And if you are interested in to learn to paint like this, maybe for next week I have something news for you. So stay tuned. I will inform you, because I'm thinking about something special for you, and maybe you are interested in, and we work together. So let's see. But I will inform you early enough. It comes more and more. I like that. I like when a face is developing, and you see more and more the person you have to paint. That's really one of these fantastic moments when you're painting, and especially when you're doing that with each color you like. Now it comes to really, really cool magenta, and which gives in a special accent and counterpoint on. You see that it's normally you would think it's really a darker color than white. It is indeed. But the reflection of the light gives you the impression that it's brighter and lighter, but it isn't. Not really, but you have the impression, and this is you have to play around with, and instead of using pure white. But if you have put some accents in white, and you're getting whiter. You're getting using more whites on your paint. Sometimes then you come to the end, because then more than white you can paint. So you have to redarken it so that you get the brilliance over there. But just using another color, like in this here a violet, it helps you to use a color instead of using pure white, and just to get the impression that this is a highlight on the face, which is pretty interesting. We'll see where. Step 2. Okay, so let's change that to an kind of blue. It's maybe more an petrol or so. It's cerulean and a bit of gray. It's a dark gray, by the way, here, and a cool gray, sorry. And if it's too light, you use a little bit of cerulean. Maybe you can use a little bit of ultramarine, but you have to be cautious because it's then getting too much in the warmth. But if you don't want to do that. Just to have a spot here. I'm really trying not to push or to press the brush on the canvas. I'm trying to stay smooth and not to mix the new color with the underlaying color, because it's getting then a gray tone or a muddy, undefined color. Just to touch slightly the canvas with the brush. So of course, if you have questions, you can write the question in German too. So that's not a problem at all. I want to ask you that, of course. Not ask you, sorry. I'm answering, of course, your questions. Sometimes a bit confusing. Okay. What I'm not happy now with is still these upper beard. Try to correct, because it has more. It's a kind of transparency, and which is not really easy to take. Because I don't wanna paint single hairs, so that's boring, yeah. And I just try to get where the main light and the shadows are coming in to play, and being lightly loose, so just to loosen up the edges and figure out where do I paint with the form or against the form or across the form. Experimenting what it hits the best. Sometimes it's this move that I'm using really the form, or I'm really using the paintbrush to go completely out of the form, and just to put a bit pressure on myself that I don't get too detailed. Because this wasn't my plan. It's more loose. So, and then I have to catch myself that and remember myself what the plan was, and not change it too much. So. Okay, so I think the portion here around the the shapes around the mouth here I have to correct, because it's the form of the lips which are now limiting all the rest, and this is why I have to paint these lips now. And yes, I do that. But what kind of color? A bit of magenta, a little bit of burnt sienna, and use a little bit more, and a little bit of burnt umber. The correction will be on this cadmium orange, and then I will see that maybe it fits directly or I have to change it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, it's too dark, and then okay, then I accept it's too dark. When it's too dark, so I accept that and said okay, good, then I'm using these shadow form in the mouth. I want to do that with that color, and later on I came and correct that. With the correct color. Okay. And the mouse I don't want to I don't want to paint to correct too, but because it's it doesn't match to all these other brush strokes, so I have to correct that, or I have to adapt that, not to correct, I have to adapt that in that way that it comes together. Okay, now I have lighted up a bit that, and I start to look here and to try to get the right here and there. It's always finding the right shapes. I don't think that I'm painting now a lip, I'm painting a curve, and maybe this is not a curve enough. I have to correct it a bit. So I can do that, and you can do that by drawing or leading the brushes like this, or you're sitting there and you turn the brush with a slightly pressure on it. So that's there are normally two different ways. I don't know more. And this is one technique. So now I can lighten up a bit these colors just to set some highlights on the lips, on the upper lips. It's not so much, but it's a little bit. Yes, and this one also form. And now you can see that on this portion the beard isn't touch really the upper lip, so I have to correct that of course. But I think now I'm waiting a bit so that the color can slightly dry on, and it's not so complicated later to go with a darker color over it, and not mixing that with a bright or light color beneath. So that's now I'm trying to find the shape from the lower lip, and so it has to be a bit lighter. Maybe I'm using a bit cooler tone. So I'm trying to hold up the brush really at the lower end as far as you can, and so you have the right distance from your photo or to your painting, so you have a better view on what you're doing at the moment. It helps really, instead of staying too close to the canvas. All right. Okay, sometimes I'm simply quiet and painting because it's already 20 before 10 and I really have no idea where the time is going, and I just have the feeling I just started, and my idea was that I came to the end today. So but of course, if I'm not at the end now, so I want to do that, of course, and I want to show you the result. Maybe I'm doing some. One day I'm doing a live stream just to show all these works we've done in the last weeks, or I done, and you are watching that, and you're following me, and you're helping me to improve these presentation and make me better. So you see, I really don't need any black. That's not necessary, because black is not really a natural color, and makes everything dead. And sometimes it's nice to use it because it's playing with it, but to use it to darken your color, I think it's not a good idea. And so as you saw, maybe you saw my painting with a sawn palette, which he uses black, and and this mixed with any skin tone like any brown tones like yellow ochre tends to get a greenish color, and then you have to control that color with red, so that you find that you really get the balance with in that what the color mixing is. And I think this is really hard to manage. It needs a good understanding on how color work, and this is why I'm not using a black. So it's complicated to my work. Only when I paint needs black, because it's of course it's part of maybe a costume or so, and so I have to use black for that. I can use it, okay, I can mix it in by my own, but sometimes I'm lazy to do that, and just to lose up these. So I see that I have to correct that with a background, so the shape around from the ears down to the neck. So that's, of course, I have to correct, but I think not today. You see here that just put a bit, take a bit too much pressure on the brush, and immediately I got an uncontrolled mix. Now you can see that the nose getting more prominent, and she comes up. It comes up, so, and but there's slightly something to do here. It's not really the end. Okay. as I said last time, when you tend to come in sketching instead of drawing shapes and volume, so change the brush, use a bigger one. There was an old rule which is, where they're saying that if you think you have a too big brush, use a bigger one. That sounds simple and or ironic, so but it isn't. It's really helpful to do that. Just to move away from these little brush strokes or lines. You're not painting. You're nearly drawing, like I did when I correct that with the orange brush. This was drawing to me. It's painting is only thinking in. For me, it's painting, thinking in shapes and volume. Of course, when you're drawing and shadowing or something, you have to use also or describe the volume of a form. But it's much easier to do that by shading with the monochrome color instead of using that using colors, and in combination of the colors you're describing or you're painting the volume. And this is quite different. So when you're good in drawing, try to get better in painting. This helps you really a lot. So I'm trying to break a bit the edges here from the beard to the skin to get an impression that that it's loose and the beard doesn't come out like cut it with a knife. So it's it has there is a change in the intensity or in the density, and this is definitely you have to observe and you have to solve. Or you make if you're drawing and you make a vector graphic, so it's not really necessary because it's part of the game, but you're trying to describe everything here. So of course it's you have to solve this problem. It's not a mask, it's hair. Let's see if it's changing something when we are painting the lights in the eyes. It helps a bit, yes, but not. It's not a final solution. It's just an orientation, and like this one here, because I have to use this color, but lighter and with a little different tone, because on the reference you don't see that. Maybe it's you can see a part of the eye, which is this one. It's not really on this way too. So I'm losing up the contours of the eye, so you don't has to draw or paint all these specific things, like all the hairs around the eye, the leashes. What's the name of leashes? Eyelashes? Also, yeah. Okay. Oh, it's already 3 to 10, so we're coming slowly to the end, but I feel that I'm not really far away from having the solution what I want, but there are too many correction lines for me now on the face, but this is why I can't finish it now. So it's just too much. But it's getting better and better. What do you think? Are you the same perspective on that, or if you something which is maybe not your favorite thing, or I think I have to correct? Tell me, write me, and every comment is, I'm happy about everything, because it's a kind of interaction, and I need these kind of interaction, because I'm want to improve, and the idea I'm just thinking about, or it's a bit more than thinking about, but it's an yeah, I think it's a step forward. Would help me to understand what you're what you are interested in, or what you want to learn. Maybe you don't want to learn something here in painting, maybe it's just entertaining for you, but that's okay too. But I think there are a lot of people out there they are interested in to learn something, and maybe if you have these points that you can share with me and do it, I would be happy. And of course, it's don't forget to subscribe my channel, and maybe press the bell button so you get informed of when I'm posting something new or planning a new live stream, whatever. And of course it helps me to come bit more in the front and the algorithm of all these social media stuff, and which is not really that simple. So I show you something, I need your help, and you help me when you follow me and support me a bit. That would be nice. All right. I think that's enough for today. And I will continue, and I want to finish it in next days, and maybe next week I'll show you a short impression from that, but I'm not sure how I came to painting this the rest of the week. Okay, so that's maybe time to say goodbye. I think it is okay, and it's going in the correct direction. And if you have some ideas for the next week, or some interests, not ideas, maybe some interests you have, that maybe write it, mail me, or whatever. You have all these access contacts are written down in the description, so just read it and stay in contact with me. I try to stay in contact with you, and every week. So enjoy your evening. Maybe you have a glass of wine. I will take now one, and see you next week. Bye bye.